First of all, I want to say good job to black people. First of all, we own it. We riding. We ain't letting nothing slide. So, in case you guys don't know, within the past few days, the family of Carmelo Anthony is close to reaching their goal of trying to raise $300,000 to get him proper legal representation, and they have already, in just a few short days, hit the 200,000 mark. So they're very close to reaching their goal. In all likelihood, they'll reach it by today. He's been held on a $1 million bond. Now he should be able to come with the 10%, be allowed to come up with the 10%, which would be 100,000. That would get him released from jail. And I did some research on Carmelo Anthony. This dude apparently saved somebody's life. He is a 4.0 student and he runs track himself. And the media has been doing their typical demonization of this young man. Now there's pictures of these dudes, these twins, one of them holding up a automatic weapon, taking pictures holding up an automatic weapon. Now keep in mind, people are trying to pull that. Well, that's besides the point. Now, keep in mind what was so sad about it. You expect the white people to pull this type of stuff, try to demonize the black person. But then you had these coons like Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock, trying to pull that crap where they were basically piling in on Carmelo Anthony. And I just want to say to all the people that donated money, thank you. I donated some money. I put my money where my mouth is. I don't sit up here and talk a lot of crap and then people be like, well, tell that you donate any money. Yes, I did. And I put up the link and I'm so proud of everybody. I'm glad a lot of people came on my channel and said, hey, Town, I donated some money. Listen, at the end of the day, this isn't about, oh, well, each person that follow my channel should donate. Hey, give what you can. At the end of the day, the goal is getting reached. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose, is to raise the money to get him out of jail and get him proper representation. First of all, he shouldn't even be getting charged with murder. At the very least, this is manslaughter. But to me, it's self-defense. If you look up, once again, look up Texas state law. They have, not only do they have mutual combat laws set in place, they have stand your ground laws set in place. So they listen. At the end of the day, this was nothing more than a basically smear campaign against a young black man. He had a squeaky clean background up until that incident. And once again, he was a 4.0 student. But you had the racists like Laura Ingraham and a couple of other people basically trying to portray him as a dude that just snapped and went crazy, when come to find out, more information is starting to come out. Now, first of all, the whole thing about, well, he should have just got up. He doesn't have to get up. Those tents are owned by the schools. And from my knowledge, as a guy that used to attend high school events, it's open seating. So for them to sit up there and tell him he had to move, they was out of line for that. First of all, they shouldn't have approached him. Now, from what I heard, they destroyed his personal property. They stumped and destroyed his phone. They tried to jump him, and basically it was self-defense. But you had people like putting out this notion that basically, oh, he just snapped because they politely asked them to move. First of all, I will give you an example. Listen, you guys know I cover boxing. When I travel to these arenas or these small theaters or ballrooms to cover these events, usually they have a assigned seat for me. They have my name and it tells me where I'm supposed to sit. It will have my seat with my name on it. Now, every once in a while, you will have some dude, when you get up and move around, when you're trying to, get on the floor and do interviews with, select brand of people, whether it's celebrities attending the event or boxers. When you come back from doing your interviews, sometimes you will get a person that'll sit in your seat. Now, what I do is I will just say, "Excuse me, could you move?" I don't physically touch them. I just ask them to move. Now, I may say, "Hey, man, why are you sitting in my seat?" But that's as far as it goes. Now, if they try to be aggressive and say, "Hey, I'm not gonna move," and all that stuff, usually they have security in the area. I just go get security, show them my ID. "Hey, this dude is sitting in my seat," and security will tell them, "Hey, either get up or we'll remove you from, from the event." I'm not gonna touch them unless they touch me. Once those dudes, from what I've been told and witness are saying, those twins have a history of trying to bully people. And it was interesting, before all this came out, where the father was sitting up there saying, "Hey, let's not make this a racial issue." Because come to find out that apparently may have, said something, racially insensitive to him, which also could have led to the incident happening. But basically, it appears to me that this was a clear case of self-defense. He had every right to defend himself. My thing is, there's pictures of those twins basically, brandishing a weapon. Now keep in mind, this is the same. Now keep in mind, this is the same strategy they used against Trayvon Martin when they posted pictures of him, with a joint in his mouth or whatever that was. See what kind of, basically they character assassinated him. Now there's supposed to be pictures of him holding an air gun, but here's the thing. Once again, he didn't have any priors. He isn't a long-standing criminal. So the media is trying to play an angle on this, and they thought they were slick, and it didn't work. I'm on this. I put all the other things that I was going to talk about to the side because I feel like this is very pivotal. This is very important. We can not let another young black man's life be destroyed or fall by the waistline because he protected himself. Now, keep in mind, once again, you have people that's upset because black people are sticking together and putting their resources together to raise the money to get him out of jail and get him proper representation. But I'm going to say this on behalf of the black people that pitched in money and for the people that got a problem with us helping, who gives a fuck what you think? We ain't got to explain shit to y'all. What part of that you don't understand? We don't owe y'all no explanation. You think way too highly of yourselves. We don't have to explain a damn thing to y'all. We don't have to explain to y'all how we spend our money and why we're helping. We don't owe you an explanation. If you mad, that's your damn problem. Y'all put y'all money together to help Daniel Penny, who raised over $1 million for legal representation. Same thing with Kyle Rittenhouse. So we can't do the same? See what it was? They thought we was just going to sit up there and not do nothing. See, they was mad. They was mad that we came together as a whole and put our money together. And we're about to raise that $300,000. He should be home within a couple of days. As soon as they release the money, he should be home hopefully by the end of this week. What it is, people mad and they scared. It's about damn time. I don't care who donated money. And I just want to thank them. Like I said, if you guys, I put the link up in the previous video I did discussing this topic. Give whatever. If you can give money, give whatever you can. There is no minimum. There is no maximum. Get whatever you can to help get that 300,000 that the family needs. The media ain't telling the whole story. Like I said, these dudes allegedly have a history of trying to bully people, trying to harass people. Apparently, they might have known this dude. But like I said, you had people like Jason Whitlock sitting up there making it look like, oh, all they did is ask him to move, and he just snapped and took out a weapon and just stabbed him. And the brother just tragically watched his brother bleed out, and that wasn't the case, according to reports. And I'm glad that a friend of the family has came out and spoke and given us more intel on Carmelo Anthony as we need. Because I'm sick of this stuff. I knew it was more to this story than meets the eye. And then the father indicated that words were exchanged. That's why he said, hey, let's, I don't want to make this a racial thing. It isn't about that. Let's not make this a racial thing, because he's scared something's going to come out, which eventually it is when this goes to court. Once again, Carmelo Anthony should not be charged with murder because he didn't go to the track meet plotting to harm somebody. It is normal for people to carry weapons in Texas. It is an open carry state. So all of a sudden, the rules don't apply to Carmelo Anthony. All of a sudden, the rules are different. He's not old enough to legally own a handgun. So he has every right to carry a weapon. And he gave them warning too. According to reports, he gave them warning saying, hey, man, don't touch me. He gave him fair warning. Once you give a guy a warning saying, hey, man, don't touch me, and they proceed to continue to move forward with, basically trying to assault you, you have every right to react. I'm going to say this again. Texas is a open carry state. It is a stand your ground state, and it is a mutual combat state. And it says all you have to do is look this up. If you feel that your life is in jeopardy, you have every right to use up to lethal force. But you got some people in media trying to play this role as he was a 4.0 student. He never hurt anybody, and that's just not the case. Because the more information and intel you get on these twins, that they were trying to harass people, they were bullies. And it's interesting for a change that finally you didn't hear about. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to be just completely honest. I truly in my heart believe had Carmelo Anthony did this to another black kid, this wouldn't even be no issue. I think they would have just ruled it as a case of niggas being niggas, and they would, and maybe it was self-defense. Or at the very minimum, they would have charged him with manslaughter. But because it's a white person, now all of a sudden it's murder. And don't come on here talking about, hey, let's not make this about race. This is absolutely about race. See what it is, people shocked that finally somebody that wasn't black met their demise, allegedly harassing somebody. Now to the family of the Metcalf kid, that's unfortunate. Sorry for your loss. But at the same time, it appears that he may have brought this on himself, and it's looking like he was the aggressor. So now all of a sudden self-defense doesn't apply. It applied to George Zimmerman, who went after Trayvon Martin. We heard the phone calls. He was told by law enforcement, do not approach him. And he approached him anyway. He was mad because he was getting whooped on, and then he pulled out a weapon and he shot and he killed Trayvon Martin. But then you had people side with George Zimmerman, and they raised money for him. They were calling Trayvon Martin all kind of despicable names, calling him all kind of names. But see, this time we're not going to let them control the narrative. We're going to put the truth out there. We're not going to let people sit up here and cosplay us and make it look and gaslight the situation and make it look like that Carmelo Anthony was some kid that had a history of violence, that he was just some dude that was going around bothering people. He was a straight A student himself that came from a 2-parent household. Nah, we're not going to let you put out that typical story. Oh, this is just some black kid that snapped and went ballistic on some innocent white kid. No. We're not doing that. We're not going to allow that. No, not today. Not today. Not today. I knew that father wasn't speaking out of the kindness of his heart when he was sitting up there doing interviews saying it's just unfortunate. But I do want to say to the media, stop trying to make this a racial thing. Stop trying to play blacks and whites up against each other, because that's just not the case. Yeah, because he worried about what's going to come out. He's worried about when this gets to court and when all the information is revealed. See, when you have money to get representation, when you can get a good lawyer, they're going to make sure you get the best case possible. And I think $200,000 is going to get him $200,000 is going to get him a real good lawyer. That's going to help him. To be honest with you, to me, it just comes across as a clear case of self-defense. But like I said, they always change the narrative with us. Once again, we're not allowed to defend ourselves because they want to put this stigma out. It can't be that we're defending ourselves. We're just these unruly savages. That's how they try to portray us when we know who the real savages are. We know what's going on with this. Like I said, I'm glad people are coming out in defense and protecting Carmelo Anthony's reputation and protecting his image and not letting the media portray him as a quote unquote thug, uncontrollable thug. This man was being offered scholarships. He was being offered, multiple scholarships to attend multiple colleges. So he couldn't have been that much of a thug. But the media have you believing he just some dude that basically snapped. Oh, all they did is ask him to move, and he just would and just pulled. No, that wasn't the case. And now that the facts are starting to come out, mainstream media is kind of backing away from this story because they thought they had something. Dude, get off my channel. No, he was defending himself. Dude, don't come on here with that crap. Get off my channel, dude. I have the facts. I did the research. No, he didn't stab them over nothing. They harassed him. They tried to remove him, and they didn't have the right to remove him. They are not security. The tent is owned by the school, and it is open seating at sporting events for the most part. Get your facts straight. So, no, I'm not lost. Texas is an open carry state. It is not out of the normal to bring a weapon with you, especially when people are walking around with guns. Nice try. You white, huh? Ain't you, Josh? Answer my question. You white, ain't you? Come on, Josh, answer my question. You white, ain't you? See, Josh, he won't answer the question. And don't block him. I'll wait for him to answer the question. Josh, what color are you? What color are you, Josh? What color are you? See, he's saying I'm racist. He's saying I'm racist. I'm just asking you what color you are. I'm just asking you. See, he won't answer the question. What color? What color are you, Josh? Oh, well, most Mexicans, a lot of Mexicans want to pass themselves off as white anyway. But thanks for proving that there ain't no black and brown alliance. Once again, this isn't your fight. If you are Mexican, this doesn't concern you. And I don't believe that you're Mexican. I believe that you're lying. You're white. Why are you lying, dude? Why are you lying, dude? Why are you lying? I don't even believe this dude. See, he a coward. He won't even tell the truth. I don't even believe that he Mexican. I believe he white. He just won't answer the question. He's trying to say I'm racist. When the media was racist towards this kid. Texas is an open carry state. You have the right to bring a weapon with you. What about those pictures of those kids posing with guns and stuff? So get out of here. It is not of the unusual for somebody to have a weapon on them. Look up Texas state law. Nice try though. But this is what I'm now. See, this is what I'm saying. They big mad because they're big mad because basically we're exposing the truth. They're trying to demonize this kid and we won't let it happen. No, we're not going to let you throw away the life of a young black man. Because like I said, Daniel Penny snuck up from behind and choked Jordan Neely out. Jordan Neely was mentally ill. He was homeless. Listen, I go to the airport. I go to places all the time. You will hear people out in the streets screaming, yelling out obscenities and all that stuff. For the most part, they're harmless because they're not mentally there unless they walk up to you. And once again, Jordan Neely was unarmed and Daniel Penny snuck up behind him, choked him out, took his life. And they said and claimed self-defense. But here it is. These two dudes tried to remove somebody, which they didn't have the right to tell him he had to leave. They were just trying to bully him and they destroyed his property. So he had every right to defend himself. You need to know the law. You need to know the law, cornball. Most of y'all know if you destroy somebody's phone, that can be considered a form of kidnapping when you destroy somebody's phone. So they did all kind of stuff to him. They antagonized him. So he had every right. Oh, he had a knife on him. So what? So what? He had a knife. And he gave them warning. And come to find out, they tried to jump him. So once again, he had every right to defend himself. Nah, they just mad, Hamza, because we about to raise the money. They thought we was just gonna sit there and let him rot in jail. They just mad because we got on code and showed solidarity. That's all they mad about, and this scares them. This scares them. I mean, Hamza, just do all kind of research. You know, like a family member has, put up the history of Carmelo Anthony. He doesn't even have a criminal record. He's a 4.0 student. He's been offered several college scholarships. He runs track himself. Those twin brothers tried to jump him, and they basically called him out his name. They tried to remove him from basically a tent that didn't even belong to them, that belongs to the property of the school. And it's not unusual for him to sit there where the opposite team sits. Yeah, so that's all was going on. Like I said, people are just shocked because black people got on code and united and basically put their money and resources together to raise the money because they're gonna hit that 300,000 by probably by the morning. So they're gonna have the money to get him out of jail. 10%. And first of all, his bond shouldn't even be $1 million because he shouldn't even be charged with murder to begin with because he didn't go there planning to hurt somebody. Because I've been doing research on these twins, people are coming out saying that these twins got a history of harassing people and trying to bully people. So, nah, Josh don't want no smoke. Josh just trolling. I don't even think Josh Mexican. I just think he's some white dude that's trolling. And he got the attention that he wanted to. He got his ass cooked with ease. He couldn't even come with a good comeback. Everybody knows that Texas, once again, everybody knows Texas is very friendly to, being able to carry weapons of some sort. I mean, everything is pretty much legal in Texas. I mean, everything from pepper spray to brass knuckles, pretty much every type of weapon you can think of is damn near legal in Texas. I'm gonna say this again: Texas is a open carry state. It is a stand your ground state and is a mutual combat state. All you have to do is look up the Texas laws on defending yourself. They say if you feel that you are in imminent danger, you have the right to defend yourself using up to lethal force. So, I've done plenty of research. I did my due diligence. Y'all know I don't get on here and start talking unless I do uh proper research. And I should have known it was a catch to it when I heard Jason Whitlock try to put a spin on it. That like you had people making it look like they like, excuse me, sir, would you mind moving? You're not supposed to sit here. And like he just said, and just went ballistic. And that wasn't the case. They tried to jump him. He told them several times to leave him alone. They tried to take his property from him, or they did take his property. They destroyed his phone. So that there gives you the right to basically be like, all right, it's time to get down. And he got down. I don't, at the end of the day, they play to a certain masses because they want certain type of attention. They basically um play into basically, you know, racist and white supremacists and basically people who do not like black people as a whole, which is dangerous because they put us at risk. And I think that's unfortunate that those dudes do that, where every time an incident like this happens, they will go the other direction, and it's did intentionally. Which I don't understand why they are seeking for white or non-black approval, because at the end of the day, they're not safe. What makes you think that they won't turn on them at the drop of a dime? And that's the problem. No, it ain't just Tatum. It's a whole bunch of them. It's Tatum, it's Marcellus Wiley, it's Fatlock. It's a few of them out there. Well, he was given warning. It's the same as a police. If they tell you, hey, drop the weapon, drop the weapon, drop the weapon, drop the weapon. If they tell you to drop the weapon and you refuse to drop the weapon, then they have every right to do what they have to do. He told them to leave him alone. He gave them warning. And who is they to tell him that he can't be there? Who is them to tell him that he have to move? Yeah, I heard of them dudes. I would never in my life engage in conversation with them because I know where they stand and I know what they be trying to do. You have these dudes, Hamza, that just sit up here. They do this for likes and views, not knowing what the ramifications could be, because basically they are giving these racists, these white supremacists, and these people, these haters of non-blacks, an open platform where they can display their hatred and racism towards blacks. They're they're providing a anti-black safe haven, and being black themselves. That's the sad part about it. So, like I said before, they thought they was gonna get away with this. They thought we was just finna sit back and just twiddle our thumbs. Nah, not this time. Not this time. We are not going to let another young black man fall by the waistline. We are not going to let Carmelo Anthony be just another statistic where a dude basically lose his freedom over something that he didn't start. I knew him so that it was some angle to when the father was coming out saying, hey, you know, don't play into the media, don't let the media, cause division and all. We're already divided. Talking about this is gonna divide us. But I'm gonna say this much: if the Josh dude is Mexican, he been proving my point, what I've been saying for years. Which I'm gonna talk about that, and don't worry, Hamza. I'm gonna talk about that situation that happened at Whole Foods in Los Angeles. I'm definitely gonna talk about that. I'm gonna probably try to talk about that tomorrow, and I'm still gonna talk about the incident that happened at Cabrera High School in Long Beach. So, like I said before, it's unfortunate. I feel bad for the parents, but at the same time, you know, the truth has to be told. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't care about what we think. So why should we be sitting up here saying, man, them people gonna be mad because we helping, because we helping Carmelo, and so we don't owe them no explanation, Hamza. We don't have to explain ourselves to them. We don't owe y'all no type of explanation. We don't have to explain to ourselves. Well, did y'all explain to us why y'all sent Daniel Penny over $1 million? Even though Kyle Rittenhouse plowed down like 3 or 4 people that wasn't even black, but it was his intent. Allegedly, he went down there trying to call himself, trying to lay down the law. This is a dude that took a gun from from cross state into another state. And they dropped all the charges against him for the most part. So like I said, yeah, don't worry about what we do. Don't worry about how we respond to this. You're not finna make us feel guilty. But anyway, you guys, appreciate y'all being here. My phone running low. I gotta get out of here. I'm out.